everyone. I love to talk about everybody else but me on my show, as you all know that. We're talking to everybody right through the radio and networking with everybody out there. We are live on Facebook, so hi to everybody out there. Like us and follow us. We will share the show in a little bit. Now, listen up, everybody, because I love this show because of all the great information that we have. And this segment is going to be really great for people to hear. So I have with me Holly Rev Aug, and she is with Academy Mortgage, and she is a reverse mortgage specialist. Welcome to the show. Get up on that mic so everybody can hear you. And I want you to tell everybody a little bit about yourself. You also have some kudos behind you that I think are really important for people to understand why it's important to come with somebody like you. So welcome to the show. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and why we should do that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Carol. It's so great to be here. I've been wanting to do this with you for a while. First of all, I'm a native of Arizona, and I'm the third generation of a real estate family. And so I went to ASU, graduated, went ahead and into the new home sales business like many of the people before me, and then got married, had kids, stayed home, but then I have a second act. You know, my kids started to drive. They didn't need the taxi anymore. They didn't need me to shuttle them anywhere, and I wanted to get back out there. And I was so intrigued because my husband does traditional mortgages, residential mortgages, and I didn't really want to do that. I was so intrigued by the reverse mortgage product because I saw such a need. The demographics are 10,000 people every day turn 65 years old, and a lot of that demographic wants to age in place, and they're just not being catered to in the way that they should. And so I went for it. And here we are almost 4 years later, and this is all I do. I specialize in reverse mortgages.
That's really important. I want you to get back up on that mic because I want everybody to be able to hear you, but I also want to talk about something I didn't tell you. And I'm doing this on purpose now.
Oh, no.
And that is because my father had a reverse mortgage. I might have told you years and years and years and years and years ago when they weren't what they are today. I think what people really need to realize, and that was really a great experience, okay? But like many people, what happens is your significant other, spouse or what have you, passes away, and all of a sudden now you don't have that second Social Security check coming in, and it was like, ooh, okay, you know.
100%.
Right? Now, of course, he had the money. He had money, but it wasn't like he had a financial advisor at the time. That was a long time ago that said, you know, you might want to do this just to have, you know, just to feel, you know, that comfort, that to have that peace of mind, just in case. And he did it, and you know what? It was wonderful. It really was. And today they're so different, and I want to talk about that in a minute because it's super, super important for people to realize. And a lot of people have a bad connotation with them because they don't realize how much they've changed.
Right.
And why is it so important, first of all, to work with somebody who totally, only strictly does reverse mortgages completely?
Well, it's a pretty complex product, and it's interesting because I've got people that I've known for years that have been in the forward or traditional mortgage side of things, and you know they don't really know much about reverse mortgages. It's an intimidating product to attempt to originate, and when they do, they'll come back to me, and I've had people say that there's a lot of trap doors that you can fall into if you're originating them. There's a lot of things that apply to reverse mortgages that don't apply to traditional mortgages, and you need to know those things going in.
Now, you are also what is called a certified reverse mortgage professional, and you're very proud of that. Tell everybody what that is, and you know, kudos to you. Tell them what that is.
I worked very hard for the certification, and my husband can tell you when I passed the test, I met him for a drink, and that was the best tasting drink I probably ever had. The CRMP is a designation that you earn based on experience. You have to have closed a certain amount of loans and been in the industry a certain amount of time. So it's not something that they just throw around. I had to study the evolution of this loan since it was signed into being by Ronald Reagan in 1987, and all of the letters that HUD, published ever since then. So not the most enjoyable reading, but it brought us to where we are now and how this product has evolved, and design flaws that have given it a bad reputation have been fixed, and there's just a lot of people that don't realize that part of it.
Now, you said that you work with people statewide, and you want to check her out on her website. A lot of people like to do that, and her website is reversewithrev.com. Mm-hmm. Her phone number is 602-625-4855. She works statewide, and she does free consultations. She is a reverse mortgage specialist. She is a certified reverse mortgage professional. That is, you said there's not even very many of them here in the state.
No, nationally, I think there's just over 200.
Yeah, so that's national, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And so we have her here on the show, and we're going to talk a little bit about reverse mortgages and why they're so different today, and how people can change their lives. It changed my father's life, giving him that peace of mind, and you can have that too. Now, you're also going to open lines to the audience we're going to give away a book, and we've got 3 people that are going to win. It's Understanding Reverse, Simplifying the Reverse Mortgage. Now, why do you think that everybody should have this book? Why do you say it's a good book for people?
It's a book by a guy named Dan Holtquist, and it's one of 4 books I read when I decided to go this route with residential mortgage. Before I even spoke with a client, I read 4 different books, and this is one of them. I could write a book, but it would not be anywhere as near, it would not be as complete as this book.
So, talking about reverse mortgages, it's all about education. That's really what it is. So we're going to open up the lines of the audience for everyone to get entered in to win. 3 people are going to get it. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's someone that you know. That's what networking is all about. It's understanding reverse, simplifying the reverse mortgage. Our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100, and you can call throughout the rest of the show for it. I know we've only got a couple minutes before we go to a break, and that's how fast these go.
Wow.
So, the climate. Why is it this time, right now, a really good time for the climate, the way the climate is, to get a reverse?
Because there's inflation, there's, rising gas prices, and I don't mean to be doom and gloom, but when you're dealing with a clientele who, for the most part, like you were saying, they're living off of 2 Social Security checks. You're on a fixed income, and so when our dollar's not going as far, we've got to find that extra money.
Absolutely.
And so, I've got clients that aren't golfing as much. They're not going to the movies. They're staying at home. They're not driving, or they're not taking trips, things like that. For other people, they're not buying prescriptions. That's not okay.
Right.
They're not eating right. They're staying at home. They're isolating themselves.
Well, here's the thing about a reverse mortgage, from what I know too. It's a tool today that you can use, and that can help you, especially in tough times. The number to call her is 602-625-4855. Call in here. The book is Understanding Reverse. Our number here, 602-277-5369. Hang tight. We'll be back in just a minute. We're going to still keep on going here because we're live in this room right now. Okay?
Okay.
But we're fast, right?
That was the first 15.
Yeah, right. See?
Oh my
Because you got to remember it's...
Oh my Lord.
I know. So... But let's go ahead, because we are live on Facebook, and this is going to give us a chance to talk a little bit more, because we're not on radio, but
so
we are on
these guys.
Right? Well, for the second. But so for you talk a lot about, obviously you're talking about the economy and things like that. When we come back, I do want you to talk a little bit about, this person that you want to talk about, Brenda, this little story that you have. So
yes.
we'll be able to
She's one of my favorite clients.
Yeah. But the economy is not just the only reason. Give me another reason why you think that people should have a reverse mortgage.
Well, it's like you were saying, peace of mind, because there's so many things. Even if the economy is great, there's no way that everyone can adequately plan for every little thing that can happen in retirement. And so, even when the economy is doing great, there's still the healthcare costs. There's still all of these. There's surprise expenses, and that's all the way through life. However, when you're in retirement, you're on fixed income, and
What do you think about the fact that the housing prices rose? So now maybe the equity in house, they might have more than they thought.
Oh, that's a huge benefit,
Okay.
and that's a great reason why. And there are people that are concerned about rates right now and things like that. But your equity, I had people that were going to do a reverse mortgage 2 years ago that decided, I'm not ready yet. I don't know enough about it. The climate has gotten better. People are starting to understand that, financial planners are recommending these more often, things like that. They want to do it now. Well, their home is now worth
Even more.
$100,000 more, or whatever it is, and so they can access more. And it's fantastic to see how it can be life changing.
Yeah, absolutely. So welcome back, everyone. We are talking about reverse mortgages, and they are phenomenal, especially today. They're so different than they ever were. And Holly is a certified reverse mortgage professional. And with this, what was it that you got? A certification that she got makes her even more so sought after, because not very many people, she says there's about only 200 of them here in the nationally in the United States. Now, she does do free consultations. Her website is reverswithrev.com. Her phone number direct, write it down, 602-625-4855. She works statewide. We also have our lines open here for everyone. She wants to have everybody get entered into one. She's giving 3 people this book. It's Understanding Reverse, Simplifying the Reverse Mortgage. Our number here, 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. Before we go into Brenda's story, because you want to talk about one of your clients, I do want to say that at the break, we were talking to Facebook Land, and one of the things that we talked about was equity now. And sometimes people do have to think about this. This is something that they need to understand. And you said a lot of people that you were talking to in the last year, let's say, or so, you said that, they weren't ready right then, and then now they're kind of ready because it's getting even better. And then what happened?
They can access far more equity now because of the housing prices and the values have gone up. So while rates may have gone up a little bit, so have home values. And that is the key, is accessing that equity and locking that in. And when you do a reverse mortgage, you are locked in at that home value. So if something were to happen with the housing market or something, if values were to go down, you are still locked in at that home value.
Right, and they're safe.
They're very safe. There have been a ton of protections that have been put into place since 1987. So there was a cell phone in 1987. It was a big brick. It did one thing. It made a phone call. Cell phone today, iPhone. It has many features. It's like comparing the two. You cannot compare what we started with what we have today. Today, the product is, there's protections that have been put into place for the heirs. It's called a non-recourse loan, meaning the only thing that stands for the loan is the home itself. So when the borrower passes away, the heirs will never have to come to the table with anything other than the value of the home to pay off the loan. So if it was upside down, they would not be responsible for any shortfall. There's also an education component that has been introduced into the loan process, and every single borrower has to go through counseling.
Right, and from what I understand, you don't even sign on the dotted line until everyone has really gone through the education process to understand. They're very, very particular about it. From what I understand, Fannie Mae, from what I understand, really, their protection is for you and for everybody involved. And I must say, even for us, I mean, that we didn't have to do any of that because my dad didn't touch the money. He didn't need to. So there you go. It just happened.
A lot of people don't.
Right. You don't necessarily need it.
It's a
wow,
rainy
isn't
day.
it nice? You know, it's exactly.
You know,
but
it's
if
a
you want,
rainy
but there's also things that you could do with it. You could buy houses. We're going to talk because I know she should come back. I know it. So, I mean, I do want to talk for you to be able to talk about. You said your favorite client is Brenda. Talk about Brenda.
Yes. You know, I have several different types of clients. And a lot of people, I think, when they hear reverse mortgage, they always think of a needs-based client. And there's always going to be the needs-based clients. But there's also other clients. But one of my favorite is Brenda. And this lovely lady, 78 years old, divorced after she raised the kids, had a Social Security check of like $800 a month she was living off of, was living in a home, free and clear, worth $400,000 on food stamps. On food stamps. But she was living on top of $400,000. And so it took a long time to get her to understand that there's a better way to live, and to help her understand that she's not giving away her equity, she's trading it in. She's trading it for a better way of life. And so finally we did, and her life has changed completely. She's able to go and travel and see her children now without having to worry about it. And she'll never have a mortgage payment in that home as long as it's her primary residence. She pays her property taxes and homeowner's insurance and maintains the property. And as long as she does those things, she can live in that home forever. And
I'll tell you, there's so many different ways of using a reverse mortgage today. Not just the typical. I mean, and we're going to talk about that sometime. But honestly, you want to make sure that when you are talking to somebody, do not just go to any mortgage person, especially if they just dabble in them. You said that before, and you used the word dabble.
Yeah.
Don't use someone like that. You want to call somebody who's been doing this. How long have you been doing now reverse mortgages? Only
4 years.
4 years. And she is a certified reverse mortgage professionals. And there are only 200 of them in the United States. So aren't we lucky that we have one of them here in Arizona? And so you can talk to her, and you could do a free consultation. She loves to educate people on this. Her phone number is 602-625-4855. She does nothing but reverse mortgages. Her website is reversewithrev.com, and she works statewide. We've also got our lines open here for everyone to call throughout the rest of the show. For the 3 people who are going to win it, it's Understanding Reverse, Simplifying the Reverse Mortgage. It was written by Dan Hallquist, if I said it, Hallquist. And we have our lines open here, and I'm going to let everyone call. She wants people to have it because it was one of the books that she read. There's several of them, but that one of them that she read to help her with when she was passing this certification that she was taking and learning about it.
Yeah, when I was first learning, and it's great because it's written for potential borrowers. It's written for children of potential borrowers. It's written for financial planners. It breaks it down to where, you know, it just breaks it down, and it's very easy to understand, and it's a very complex product.
I was just going to say that the book makes it a complex conversation easy. So the number to call here is 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. I'm going to let everyone call throughout the rest of the show. Okay, so you can customize a reverse mortgage?
Yes, that's the great thing about this product. You can decide whether you want to make monthly mortgage payments. I've heard people say it's just an FHA loan that's like a pick-to-pay loan. So some people want to make regular payments on it and have their loan balance come down. Some people just want to treat it like an interest-only loan and make interest payments. Some people don't want to make payments at all. They don't have to. You don't have to do any, you know, you don't have to make
everybody,
any
when you
payments.
sit down, it's all about your story. What is your story? And that's the first thing you've got to do is sit down and talk to people and find out what is it that you're looking to do, you know.
What's the strategy?
Or really, honestly, anybody, how old do you have to be?
62.
62 years old, and I'll tell you right now, if you are, okay, everybody should at least have the conversation.
That's exactly right.
Just have the conversation to find out, is this right for me or not? It doesn't hurt to talk.
No, and I'm very education based. I'm not, you know, salesy. Here's what the product is. Please, let me show you what it looks like for you.
Right, because it's what it is and what it looks like for you are two complete different
100%.
things.
It's not one size fits all,
Right.
At all.
So you have to have the conversation, and you know what? It's no obligation to do that. So you can either call her direct. Her phone number here is 602-625-4855. Her website is reversewithrev.com. She is a specialist that does only reverse mortgages, and that is who you want to work with. If you are working with somebody who does them and dabbles in them, run and go ahead and check out her website and give her a call. She does free consultations. She works statewide. She is a certified reverse mortgage professional. There are only 200 of them in the United States, and we've got one of them right here. Also, we're going to let everyone call throughout the rest of the show for the book. It's Understanding Reverse, Simplifying the Reverse Mortgage. Our number here, 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100.